Welcome to Reset and Restore, the September edition. For today's practice, we will be using a mat. You may want a blanket, and you may even want a pillow or a bolster or something to just support your body a little bit in some of the poses, because we'll be holding some of our poses for a little bit longer in today's practice. So let's begin on our backs. Finding a comfortable position. You are welcome to do whatever feels good for you, perhaps walking feet out to the edges of the mat and letting the knees fall together, providing a little relief for the low back. You may want to bring the feet together and allow knees to fall apart in Supta Baddha Konasana. Or you might want to stretch legs out long. So just finding a position that feels good for your body. I'm going to go with the constructive rest posture here. And allowing yourself to just relax a little bit with the next exhale. Allowing your eyes to close gently. Taking a few moments to arrive in this moment, on the mat, in this body. Taking a deep breath in and letting it go. Taking another deep breath in. And on your exhale, letting your body melt just a little bit into the mat. And once more, breathing deeply in. And letting it go, letting something go. Allowing now your breath to return to its natural rhythm. Taking a moment to scan the body from head to toe, bringing awareness to the top of the head, letting the scalp relax, softening the brow, softening the eyes, the cheeks, the jaw, the tongue, softening right where the spine meets the skull at the back of the head. Softening through the neck and the throat, through the heart center, shoulders, and upper back. Bringing awareness to the upper arms, elbows, forearms, wrists, hands, and fingers. And now sensing into the arms from the inside out. Taking a moment to notice what sensation is present for you there. And continuing our body scan, softening through the solar plexus, the belly, the mid-back, the low back, allowing the glutes, the hips, the pelvis to release and soften. Softening through the thighs, knees, calves and shins, bringing awareness to the ankles, the heels, the tops of the feet, bottoms of the feet, and the toes. And feeling now your feet from the inside out. Feeling the dance of aliveness in the feet, the legs, the torso, arms and head, widening the field of awareness to encompass the entire body. Feeling into the points of contact between your body and the earth. Sensing into this groundedness, the sensation of your body being fully supported in this moment. Nowhere to be, nothing to do other than remain present with your own sensation, experience, and taking now a moment to set your intention for today's practice. Perhaps the intention to meet your sensations, your experience with radical acceptance. What if nothing is wrong? What if we are right where we need to be? Taking now one hand to the heart center and the other hand to the belly. Feeling the rise and fall of the chest, the belly, on your in-breath and out-breath. Allowing the body to breathe itself. Connecting with this breath and this one. Let's prepare for our practice today with a few rounds of 4-7-8 breathing. So with this practice, we will inhale to a count of 4, hold at the top for a count of 7, and then exhale for a count of 8. Stimulating the parasympathetic nervous system, the rest and digest mode of our body. On your next inhale, breathing deeply in through the nose, holding at the top, and exhaling through the nose. Inhaling, hold, and exhale. Inhaling, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Inhale. Hold. Exhale. And then release this pattern, allowing your breath to return to its natural rhythm. Noticing the state of your mind. Noticing the state of your heart, your emotions, and noticing the state of your body as we prepare for our physical asana practice. And throughout today's practice, I invite you to use your breath as your guide. This is intended to be a gentle practice, one that does not take us over our edge. So if you find at any time that you're having difficulty breathing, that your nervous system is feeling particularly activated, that you're feeling overwhelmed with emotion or physical sensation, please back away, back out of the posture, and return to a posture that feels safe and supportive for the body. Perhaps this posture on the back. And then rejoin the practice when you feel ready. Once more, taking a deep breath in and letting it go. Blinking the eyes open, stretching the arms above the head, stretching the feet long on the mat, drawing the knees into the chest. And allowing feet to meet the mat about hip width distance. Hands can be on the thighs, on the belly, on the floor, wherever feels most supportive for you. And we're just going to begin with a few pelvic tilts here. So, beginning by tilting the tailbone up toward the sky, and then tilting the tailbone down toward the floor, toward the mat. Moving through this gentle motion several times, tucking the tailbone and tipping the pelvis down toward the mat, beginning to unstick and awaken the spine here. And after your next round, coming back to the center. And let's begin using the same motion from side to side. So tilting the pelvis or the hips to the right, coming through center, and doing this on the left side as well. Taking this gentle motion several times in each direction. Breathing into any sensation you experience, any adjustments your body wants to offer you today, and then coming back through center. And now we'll take our pelvis in a gentle circle. Let's start to the right. So, tucking the pelvis, tipping toward the right side, pressing the pelvis into the floor, tipping toward the left side. Finding this gentle circular motion through the pelvis. Just taking a few rounds here to warm up the body. And when you reach the top of your next circle, reversing directions, slowly moving the pelvis in a gentle circular motion. before coming back to center at the top of your next circle. Taking a deep breath in here and letting it go. Pointing one sole of the foot toward the ceiling, and then the second sole of the foot toward the ceiling, reaching up through the heels, really flexing through the toes, pressing the low back into the mat. Finding a variation of legs up the wall. A calming posture for our nervous system. Bending the knees, hugging them in toward the chest, rocking from side to side a few times here, allowing the feet to drop back to the mat, hip width apart, and then just letting the knees drop to the right. Inhaling through center, allowing knees to drop to the left. Inhaling through center, moving through this windshield wiper motion a few times on each side. Pulling the navel to the spine to protect the low back, while allowing the hips to find a little bit of motion, a little warming here, and coming back through center. Keeping the feet hip width apart, stretching the arms out to the sides, or perhaps bringing them into a cactus shape. Let's gently drop those knees to the right once more, and turn to look over the left shoulder for a gentle twist. And if you're wanting a little more sensation here, please feel free to bring the right heel on top of the left knee to help get into that left hip, left low back a little bit more here. And releasing that foot on the knee if you took that variation. Coming back through center, breathing in, breathing out, and allowing knees to drop to the left now. Turning to look over the right shoulder, bringing left ankle on top of right knee if you would like to take this variation, and you did so on the other side. And releasing the ankle, bringing knees back to center. Making sure that your feet are still hip width apart. Let's bring arms alongside our body and press palms, forearms, and upper arms into the mat. On the next inhale, we will gently lift our hips toward the sky, rolling up one vertebra at a time. And on the exhale, gently rolling down, reversing directions one vertebra at a time. Inhaling, hips to the sky. And exhaling, hips to the mat. And once more, inhaling, hips to the sky. And exhaling, hips to the mat. Once more, bringing knees into the chest, perhaps rocking side to side. Let's now drop right foot to the mat and bring left ankle to cross over that right knee, to rest on the right knee. You might stay here, You might use the left hand to press the knee out a bit, finding a gentle opening through that left hip. Breathing deeply in and letting it go. Accepting, forgiving, whatever sensations are present for you in this moment. And unwinding the legs. Let's cross now, left ankle on top of right knee, allowing that, right ankle, left knee, allowing the right knee to drop open. You might stay here, or you might use that right hand to press the right knee out a little bit, finding a deeper opening, deeper sensation in that right hip. Breathing deeply in, breathing deeply out. Accepting what's here for you right now. And dropping the right knee back to, or right foot back to the mat, unwinding those legs. One last time, bringing those knees toward the chest, giving it a little hug, a little rock. Rolling over to the left side, or the right side, whichever side is your favorite. Pausing here, breathing in, breathing out, savoring the transition before using your hands to press yourself up to seated. And we're actually going to come through into a tabletop position. So this is a time where you might like to grab a blanket to cushion the knees. I'm going to go ahead and do that here. You can have your toes tucked or untucked. It really is up to you on whatever feels most supportive for your body. Excuse me while I adjust my mic pack here. Okay. Hands are directly underneath the shoulders. Fingers are spread wide, pointing the pointer and middle fingers toward the top of the mat and really pressing down through the inner edges of the thumb and forefinger, pressing down through all four corners of the palms. Knees are directly under the hips, drawing the spine long from tip of head to tip of tail in our tabletop position. Let's move through a few rounds of cat-cow. So inhaling, tipping the hips up to the sky, looking up, opening through the heart. And exhaling, arching through the spine, tucking the tail, tucking the chin. Inhaling, cow. Exhaling, cat. Inhaling, cow. Exhaling, cat. And once more, inhaling, cow. And exhaling, cat. And on the next inhale, returning to your tabletop position. Turning to look now over your shoulder, either shoulder at your hip, bringing hip toward shoulder. And reversing to the other side, looking over the other shoulder at that hip, bringing hip toward shoulder. And switching back to the first side, really breathing into the side body, allowing it to open. And doing the same on the other side. Beginning to unstick through the side body, through the ribs, the intercostals. And returning to center. Let's take now our right toes back behind us on the mat and then cross them behind the left heel. Let's now turn to look over that left shoulder at the right toes, breathing deeply into the right side body. Continuing to unstick, allowing things to move through us. And coming back through center. Stepping now left toes back behind us before crossing them over and behind the right foot, right knee, turning to look over the right shoulder at those left toes and breathing deeply into the left side body. Meeting your internal experience just where it is, accepting, forgiving. All sensations are welcome here. And returning to center, back to tabletop. Let's inhale now, the right arm up to the sky, and exhale, thread the right arm behind the left wrist, bringing the right shoulder, right ear to the mat. Walk those left fingertips forward. Finding a bit of opening here in the right shoulder, right upper back. You might even feel it in the left upper back as you reach forward. And bringing that left hand back under the left shoulder, inhaling right arm up to the sky, and planting right hand back on the mat. Meeting back in tabletop, taking a moment to feel the difference between sides, breathing in, breathing out. Inhaling now, left arm to the sky, and threading left hand behind the right wrist, bringing left shoulder, left ear to the mat, walking those right fingertips forward. Whatever sensations you're experiencing, whatever your internal experience, meeting yourself with love, kindness, compassion, meeting yourself without judgment. And bringing the right hand back under the right shoulder, inhaling left arm up to the sky before returning to tabletop. Breathing deeply in and letting it go. Let's now step the right foot between our hands. However many steps it takes you to get there is all good. Bending into that front knee. We want the knee to be over the ankle, not too far past it anyway. And bending and straightening that front knee just a few times, lubricating the joints, finding a bit of warmth here before settling into a low lunge. If the mat or the floor is feeling particularly far away from you, you can always grab a couple of blocks or books or cans, anything that will help raise the floor up to a height that feels more comfortable for your body. breathing into the hips here. And then planting the left hand inside the right foot and inhaling, right arm up to the sky for a little twist here. Continuing the opening through those hips. And bringing right hand back to the mat. And then placing right hand inside the right foot. Let's walk that right foot out to the outside of the mat. You might even turn it out about 45 degrees for our lizard pose. You might stay here with straight arms. This might be quite enough sensation for you. You might go down onto the forearms if that feels like a place that is working for your body. You also might let that right knee fall open, bringing the right hand to the right knee and finding a little bit of twist here in a twisted lizard. And coming back to your low lunge, breathing in, breathing out, and then sitting hips back for a half split. You can keep your toes pointed or flex them back towards your face to get a little bit more hamstring and calf involvement here. Only coming as far back as feels comfortable for your body today. You can also keep that front knee bent if you need a little bit of extra space, if you're feeling very tight in the hamstrings and the low back. And coming back through low lunge before stepping the right foot back to meet the left in table. Let's now step our left foot forward, and we're going to do the same thing on the other side. So finding a little bit of movement here through that front knee, bending and straightening just a few times before settling into our low lunge, allowing the hips to drop toward the mat. Breathing into the hips here. And planting the right hand on the mat, opening left arm up to the sky in a low lunge twist. And coming back to that low lunge, breathing in, breathing out, and then walking the left hand inside the left foot, walking that left foot out to the outside of the mat, perhaps turning to a 45-degree angle. You might stay here with straight arms. You might come down to forearms for a low lizard, or you may want to let that left knee drop open, bringing left hand to the left knee, and turning to look over the left shoulder for a little twisted lizard here. And coming back into your low lunge, breathing in, breathing out. Setting the hips back for a half split. You can keep those toes pointed or flex the foot, coming back as far as is comfortable for your body today. Breathing into sensation. And coming back to that low lunge before stepping left foot back to meet right in table. Let's inhale, right arm forward, left toes behind us. Pulling fingertips and toes away from one another. Pulling navel into spine. And exhaling, returning to table. Inhaling, left fingertips forward, right toes behind us. Balancing table. Pulling fingertips and toe tips apart, finding length in the spine. Looking down next to the thumb. Navel to spine. And returning to table. Bringing the toes to touch, bringing the knees nice and wide, setting the hips back for child's pose. Perhaps walking the hands forward, bringing forehead to touch the mat. Finding contact between the third eye, the forehead, and the mat or a hard surface can be quite calming for the mind. And pressing back up through table. I'm going to go ahead and remove this blanket from beneath me, but I'm going to keep it handy in case I need it again later. And I'm going to find my way to a modified plank. So I'm going to keep my knees on the floor for this one. I'm still going to squeeze my inner thighs together, engage my glutes, engage my core, engage my arms. Finding a strong plank pose before slowly lowering my chest to the mat, pressing all 10 toes into the mat, bringing hands to just beneath the shoulders. Let's inhale up for a baby cobra. And exhale, release that cobra. Inhaling, chest, forehead off the floor for a nice cobra. Perhaps floating the palms to ensure that you're using your back and not your arms to find this posture. Elbows are tucked closely into the body. And releasing. You can stay with cobra for this next round, or you can join me for locust. So reaching the arms back behind, perhaps bringing hands to clasp behind you if that feels available and comfortable. On the inhale, we will lift forehead, chest, feet, legs, hands, all simultaneously, engaging through the glutes, through the back body. And letting it go. Pressing back up through table. Feeling the body here, breathing in, breathing out. Stepping the right foot up between the hands and stepping left foot up between the hands. Finding ourselves in a forward fold. Knees can be bent quite soft, perhaps grasping opposite elbows, swaying from side to side, giving yourself a little bit of opening through that upper back, through the hamstrings, finding some natural traction for the spine, and then rolling up one vertebra at a time until we meet in mountain pose. So feet are hip distance apart, or you can bring your toe mounds to touch with a little bit of space between those heels. Let's inhale, arms up to the sky, and exhale, cactus the arms, shine the heart up to the sky, look up. Inhale, arms to the sky, and exhale, cactus. Inhale, arms to the sky, and once more, exhale, cactus. And inhale, arms to the sky. Let's take hold of the left wrist with the right hand and reach up and over for half moon. And sweeping down, finding a forward fold here. And when we're down here at the bottom, we'll take hold of the right wrist with the left hand, and we'll stand up into half moon on the opposite side. And come back to mountain. Exhale, bringing hands to the heart. Inhale, lift left foot off the floor for one-legged mountain. Exhale, finding a little bit of a twist here. You can grasp the outside of that left knee with the right hand, turning to look over your shoulder. And inhaling back to mountain. Exhaling, hands to the heart. Inhaling, right foot off the mat for one-legged mountain. And exhaling, finding a twist on the other side. And inhaling back to mountain. Exhaling, coming down through center to a forward fold. Inhaling, halfway lift, finding length in the spine, going long from tip of the tail to tip of the head. Exhaling, planting hands on the mat, stepping back into plank, breathing in, breathing out, lowering slowly onto the chest, belly, untucking the toes, pressing all 10 toes into the mat, inhaling up for cobra. Exhaling, releasing cobra. Tucking the toes, inhaling, and exhaling, pushing up to plank before lifting hips to the sky for downward facing dog. Allowing hips to melt toward the mat. Looking between the toes, perhaps between the knees, finding length in the spine, spiraling the inner thighs, finding opening in the hips. Inhaling the right foot up and then stepping it forward, however many steps it takes, to find a high lunge here. Inhaling into a crescent lunge. Exhaling, cactusing the arms in our crescent. Inhaling to crescent, and exhaling, spinning the left heel to the mat, lunging into the right knee. Right arm reaches forward, left arm reaches back for warrior two. Inhaling, dropping that left hand to the back of the thigh, reaching the right hand up and back. Reverse warrior. Exhaling, straightening both legs, stepping the back leg in, just a couple of steps, a couple of footprints, squaring hips toward the front of the mat, and leading with a long spine, folding over that front thigh for pyramid. And now turning to face the left edge of your mat, the long edge, bringing the feet quite wide, bringing hands underneath the shoulders, finding length in the spine, and then folding forward into wide leg forward fold. You can bring hands underneath your shoulders. You can bring hands to the outsides of the ankles or the calves. It's really about what feels good for your body. Lengthening the head toward the mat, bringing it as close to the mat as you comfortably can. Inhaling, lifting halfway. Exhaling, forward fold. Walking around into our low lunge here. We'll step the right foot back to meet the left. Lift the hips toward the sky for downward facing dog, allowing the heels to mount toward the mat. Accepting the sensations as they present themselves, allowing them to pass on their own time. No judgment, no resistance needed. Meeting our experience with a kind, friendly, non-judgmental state of mind. Inhaling now, left foot toward the sky, and stepping that foot between the hands in your lunge. Inhaling, arms up to the sky, crescent pose. And exhale, cactusing the arms, opening the heart toward the sky. Inhaling, arms up to the sky, crescent. Exhaling, spinning the right heel now to the mat, lunging into the left knee, the left leg, finding warrior two on our second side. Inhaling, reverse warrior. And exhaling, straightening the front leg, stepping the back foot in a bit, squaring the hips toward the front of the mat, and folding forward over that thigh for pyramid pose. The front knee can be bent as much as it needs to be comfortable for you. Never forcing the body into a posture. Always accepting, radically accepting where we are in the moment. And now turning to face the right edge of your mat, the long edge, walking those feet out wide. Inhaling, bringing hands underneath the shoulders, long spine, and exhaling, folding forward. Wide-legged forward fold here. Grasping outsides of the feet, ankles, calves, whatever feels good for you. Simply allowing the top of the head to grow longer as though it is magnetized to the earth toward the mat, finding that length. And inhaling, lifting halfway. Exhaling, turning to face the top of your mat. Stepping the left foot back to meet the right. And bringing those hips back up to the sky, melting the heels toward the mat for one last downward facing dog. Dropping to the knees, coming through tabletop. And now we will move into 90-90 or deer pose type of stretch. So sitting onto the right hip, let's bring that right knee to point toward the front of our mat and have our left knee point toward the side of our mat. Turning to square our chest over the front knee. This is a place where you may find yourself wanting to have a blanket, a block, a bolster to support your body. So if you're going to use something like that, I can show you how to utilize that prop in your practice here. Walking the hands forward, turning to rest the right ear on your prop, allowing your body to really just rest in this posture. And if you don't have a prop like this, or you wish not to use it, you can either bring your forehead to stacked hands or to stacked fists, simply finding a version of the posture that works for your body. Imagining that you're breathing directly into that right hip. And raising your chest up off the mat. Let's walk over to the right, and we will do the same thing. Folding forward. Finding a slightly different stretch in this hip. And pressing back up through center. Let's switch our legs out now. So, bringing the left knee to point toward the front of the mat. Left calf is parallel to the front of the mat. And bringing the right knee to point out to the side of our mat here. Finding that 90-90 position with the legs. Squaring chest toward the front of the mat before folding forward. Over that leg, over that knee. Breathing all the way into the hips. Accepting, forgiving, meeting sensation right where you are without judgment. And coming up, walking hands to the left side now, and folding back over that front thigh, that front hip. Breathing into sensation. Observing as sensation morphs, changes, transmutes with our kind, non-judgmental attention. And pressing up. We will meet in a seated position here with legs stretched out on the mat. You might Want to remove the fleshy bits from underneath you to find a good grounding here. Bringing hands outside the hips, drawing the spine up long, inhaling, arms to the sky, and then folding forward, reaching for the calves, the ankles, the feet, whatever works for your body. It's okay to round the spine a little bit here, but really what we want to think about is bringing the chest toward the tops of the feet. So we like to keep the spine long. Always totally fine to keep those knees bent, meeting your body where it is today. And in this position, you are also welcome to bring a bolster, blanket, pillow beneath the chest and rest the head. Inhaling, lengthening through the spine. Exhaling here. Inhaling, arms up to the sky. Exhaling, hands down to the mat. Let's take the right foot outside the left thigh, drawing the spine up long. You might stay here, or you might hug that right knee with the left arm. Turn to look over your shoulder. Using that right hand, the right fingers as a kickstand behind you to support and find length through the spine as you twist gently. And coming back to face forward, stretching the right leg out long, bending the left knee, stepping left foot outside the right thigh, drawing the spine up long, and hugging that left knee with the right arm, turning to look over the left shoulder. And letting this go, stretching the legs out long, planting the feet flat on the floor, reaching the arms forward, and gently rolling down to the mat, one vertebra at a time, finding yourself once more on the back. Hugging knees into the chest, perhaps rocking side to side a few times, before reaching the left leg long on the mat, drawing right knee into the chest, in toward the armpit for wind relieving pose. And drawing left knee in to meet right, reaching right leg long on the mat, drawing left knee into the chest now, in toward the armpit. Drawing both knees into the chest and allowing feet to drop to the mat, hip width apart. Taking the right ankle on top of the left knee once more, this time drawing that left knee in toward the chest, perhaps holding behind the thigh or perhaps holding in front of the shin. Breathing deeply into that outer hip. Dropping the left foot back to the mat, reaching the arms wide or into a cactus shape, and then dropping the right foot to the mat, as the left knee comes to the mat as well. You can turn to look over the right shoulder. I like to grasp the right ankle and allow my right knee to fall open even a little bit more, getting into those outer hips, into the IT band. And letting that go, coming back through center, planting both feet on the floor, breathing in, breathing out, bringing left knee to right, left ankle to right knee now, drawing that right knee in toward the chest, holding behind the thigh or perhaps the front of the shin, breathing into that outer hip. And dropping right foot to the floor, and then letting left foot come to the mat, right knee come to the mat, reaching the arms out wide or like a cactus, turning to look over that left shoulder, perhaps holding the right ankle, left ankle, and letting that left knee fall open. And coming back through center, hugging knees into the chest once more, perhaps bringing the forehead toward the knees to seal in all the benefits of our practice before finding our final resting pose, Shavasana. Feet fall open, arms rest alongside the body on the mat, eyes gently close. Taking just a couple of moments to allow the benefits of this practice, to allow our nervous systems to integrate the resetting, the restoration, the calming benefits of our practice today. Softening the brow, softening the jaw, relaxing the shoulders and the belly, relaxing the hips and the thighs. Melting into the mat with each exhale, allowing the practice, allowing the yoga to melt into you. Perhaps offering gratitude to this sweet body that carries you through so much every single day, that has carried you beautifully through this practice, perfectly imperfect always. Beginning to deepen your breath. Taking a deep breath in and letting it go. Reaching arms above the head, reaching toes and legs long on the mat. Rolling over to your favorite side. Pausing here, savoring the transition, the liminal spaces, and pressing yourself up to seated. Drawing the spine up long. Taking just a moment to honor yourself and all of the work you've done here today. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for all you do. I hope you have a wonderful weekend, and I hope to see you again next month. The divine light in me honors the divine light in you. Namaste. Thank you.